Hey everyone, and a massive welcome to all of you App State juniors and seniors tuning in. As you gear up to transition from your classes here in Boone out into the actual professional marketing world, we are going to bridge that gap between academic theory and real-world execution. Today's explainer is a strategic masterclass designed exclusively for you mountaineers, focusing on exactly how you can navigate the incredibly fast-paced, high-stakes world of social media marketing. So grab your notebooks and let's get into it. Okay. I want you to imagine something for a second. You've just landed your absolute dream social media marketing internship. You log into the brand's accounts for the day, feeling great, and suddenly, a highly negative, incredibly angry comment rolls in. Your heart drops, your palms are sweating, you're staring at the screen asking yourself the ultimate question that literally every social media manager faces at some point. Is this a real crisis or not? Well, by the end of this explainer, I promise you're going to have the exact tools, strategies, and frameworks to confidently answer that question and take total control of the situation.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The high stakes of social. 2. Building your social policy. 3. Crisis management 101. 4. Empowering employee advocates. And 5. Takeaways for future professionals.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the high stakes of social, understanding governance and risk. It's absolutely crucial to understand that social media has massive repercussions on a brand's bottom line. On a global scale, just look at Dolce & Gabbana back in 2018. They released a racially insensitive ad, and the backlash? It was immediate and severe. We're talking a canceled mega fashion show in Shanghai, retailers dropping their clothes left and right, and massive celebrity boycotts. It was a complete financial disaster. But now, let's shrink the scale for a second. What if a rogue employee sent out an incredibly offensive tweet from the account of a beloved local staple right here in Boone, say Mass General Store? Sure, it wouldn't make international news, but it would immediately shatter the trust of the high country community. The scale changes, but the core risk, it's identical. Governance matters at every single level of business.
So what do you do when that risk actually materializes? Lori Meacham, the manager of customer commitment over at JetBlue, has this fantastic golden rule. She says that when things blow up on Twitter or Facebook, the most important thing is to not respond as quickly as possible, but to stop and take stock. It sounds totally counterintuitive, right? I mean, social media moves at the speed of light, so you naturally feel this intense pressure to reply instantly. But rushing a response without aligning your team, fact-checking, and getting on the exact same page with other departments, that can actually throw gasoline on the fire.
Which brings us to section 2, building your social policy, safeguarding your brand culture.
Think of a strong social media policy as your brand's first line of defense. It serves as a contract for ethical practices. It protects you against legal trouble, sure, but more importantly, it prevents internal risks from turning into massive public disasters. There is a perfect cautionary tale for this. Back in 2013, the Houston Rockets were playing the Dallas Mavericks. The Rockets' social media manager actually tweeted an emoji of a gun pointed at a horse emoji, representing the Mavericks mascot, with the caption, "Shh, just close your eyes, it will all be over soon." Yikes, right? It sparked absolute outrage, and that manager was fired immediately. Ignoring cultural sensitivities and failing to have a rigid code of ethics for your brand's voice can literally end your career in a single keystroke.
So how exactly do we build a solid policy? Here are the essential steps. Step 1, identify exactly who is actually allowed to speak for the company. Step 2, set a rigid protocol for addressing customer complaints and PR inquiries. Step 3, outline the legal rules. Did you know that just grabbing a copyrighted image off Google Images without permission can carry a $100,000 fine? Yeah, your policy absolutely must cover copyright and privacy. And finally, step 4, educate and reward your employees. Oh, and you have to keep it updated. Platforms evolve so fast. Like when Panera employees started posting behind-the-scenes videos on TikTok, the company had to swiftly adapt their policies to address that brand new behavior. Let's dive into Section 3, Crisis Management 101. Or, as I like to call it, taming the social media zombie. I absolutely love this analogy. Professor Tim Coombs, who is a leading crisis communication scholar, describes social media crises as zombies. Why? Because they start out as this isolated incident on a specific platform, kind of like a patient zero. Then, they rapidly infect and spread from person to person, and before you know it, the infection breaches containment and spills over into traditional, mainstream news. It is highly unpredictable, which is exactly why you have to be fully prepared before the zombie wakes up. To survive this digital zombie apocalypse, you need a clear, chronological timeline of action. In the pre-crisis stage, you aren't just sitting around. You are proactively monitoring online chatter, drafting message maps, and assembling an executive team that includes legal, PR, and upper management.
Then, during the actual crisis response, you execute those plans quickly and compassionately, all while closely monitoring the public's emotional sentiment. Finally, in post-crisis, you analyze the data, evaluate your team's response, and update your strategy based on the lessons you learned.
Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. When it comes to massive failures, we have Uber, who faced a massive boycott with the hashtag delete Uber, and Facebook, who suffered a catastrophic data breach with Cambridge Analytica. Both of these companies severely delayed their responses, and when they did finally speak, their statements felt completely robotic and lacked basic human empathy. Now contrast those failures with a massive success story like Southwest Airlines. When a child lost a beloved teddy bear on a flight, the parents were frantic on social media. Southwest didn't just fire off some generic corporate apology, they immediately tracked down the issue, transparently replaced the bear, and turned a potential negative into a massive community win, because their actions were swift and highly empathetic. When you find yourself in the thick of a crisis, here is your immediate playbook. First, freeze everything. Pause all scheduled posts, paid ads, and marketing emails. Next, you must always research trending hashtags before using them. DiGiorno Pizza notoriously trendjacked the hashtag #WhyIStayed, tweeting that they stayed for the pizza. They didn't realize the hashtag was actually being used by domestic violence survivors. It was a horrific oversight that could have been avoided with literally 3 seconds of research. Third, own the mistake transparently. Never, ever say no comment. And lastly, please, do not blame the intern. Passing the buck just makes the brand look incredibly weak and disorganized.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds into an offensive strategy. Empowering employee advocates, your best promotional resource.
Get a load of this staggering statistic. 8 times. Content shared by a company's employees receives 8 times more engagement than content shared by the brand's official corporate channels. Let that sink in. Your employees are, without a doubt, your absolute greatest promotional asset.
According to the Edelman Trust Barometer, people trust employees 3 times more than they trust CEOs. It makes sense, right? Enterprise companies like Dell and Humana invest heavily in employee advocacy programs because they know consumers just tune out polished corporate ads. People trust real people. And hey, this isn't just for massive corporations. Imagine a local high country favorite, like Appalachia Cookie Co. or Stick Boy Bread, empowering their bakers and delivery drivers to share authentic, behind-the-scenes content on their personal feeds. The word-of-mouth amplification is just staggering, and it authentically reinforces the company culture far better than any paid ad ever could.
Which brings us to our final section for today. Takeaways for future professionals, your capstone toolkit. Let's distill everything we've talked about into 4 actionable golden rules. Rule 1. Never operate without a proactive, constantly evolving social media policy. Rule 2. Build a comprehensive crisis plan with a diverse executive team before you ever need it. Rule 3. When that zombie crisis strikes, respond with unmatched empathy and transparency. And Rule 4. Balance your defensive risk management with a strong offensive strategy by empowering your employees to be your most authentic brand advocates. Bring these rules into your capstone projects and carry them right into your future marketing internships. As you prepare to graduate and leave App State to make your mark on the business world, I want to leave you with one final thought. In the unpredictable, lightning-fast landscape of modern digital marketing, are you ready to step up and lead the conversation, or will you sit back and let the conversation lead you? The tools are in your hands now. Go out there and be proactive. Thanks so much for joining me for this Masterclass Mountaineers, and I'll catch you on the next one.